way this direction.
I do. That's for which one bothered you the most?
Corner of,
So they did that.
131st, 137th and
Now,
there's a development
you know,
going in there as well.
the good
I know.
really hurting a lot now. 15% started her, and she's never
Bye-bye.
stopped therapy because therapy.
Okay. All right. Thank you everyone for being here. Let's go ahead and take our seats. We'll call to order City of King City regular city council meeting Wednesday, January 21st at 6:05 p.m. Thank you all for being here. Fuller house tonight. Roll call. Councilor Aditi.
Here.
Councilor Cunningham.
Here.
Councilor Tyso.
Here.
Council President Gearhart.
Here.
Mayor Kazmarski here. All right, at this time, if you would like to join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first item on our agenda is October 15th, 2025 minutes. I did have a couple edits. Ronnie, I think we missed Councilors Olson and Cunningham as here.
Which ones?
Councilor Olson and Councilor Cunningham.
Under the roll call.
Under roll call, yeah. And then there was one other thing. The sidewalk updates. It was like an unfinished sentence. It was at the just at the very end. It said, "City Council." Where is it?
What item?
It was sidewalks.
Unfinished business B.
Yep, unfinished business B. Sidewalk updates at the very end. They agreed to continue the discussion, probably? Okay. Add that in. And those were the two edits that I found. Did anybody else?
And I'm not sure whether this is the appropriate time to ask or not, but, we made a motion to hire Jurassic Parliament as a consultant, on the charter, and then it looks like, I don't think anything came of it, because I think the charter committee was done, or
They reviewed.
We did have them, I think, just review what we should pull out as council rules.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
All right, if no other edits? Would you like to move to approve?
I move to approve the minutes of October 15th, 2025.
Second?
Second.
Okay, roll call. Councilor Aditi?
What are we voting on?
Approving the minutes?
Yes.
Councilor Cunningham?
Yes.
Councilor Tyso?
Yes.
Council President Gearhart?
Yes.
Mayor Kazmarski, yes. Motion passes 5-0. Well done. Next up, we have special presentations. Tonight we do not have any, so we will move on to open forum. Ronnie, do you have the sign-in sheet? Okay. Open forum is intended to ensure the community has an opportunity to provide input for items being considered on the agenda or make suggestions for future agendas. At this time, the council will be happy to receive your comments pertaining to items on the agenda. with the exception of public hearings for which testimony will be received and conducted in the proper form and manner at the time of the hearing. Each person's time will be limited to 3 minutes. We will begin with Carl Swanson.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. An item on the agenda is the engineer's report on, that includes the RFP for the TSP changes with 8 items listed as data and alternative analysis, options to avoid Bankston by moving collector, options for 137th connections, Beef Bend analysis for approved 1,556 units, determine feasibility of alternatives to Bankston alignment, assist staff with interagency coordination, assist staff with public outreach, and finally perform code amendments and TSP edits. My statement on that is the RFP is critical if this review process is going to correct the wrong perpetrated on this community by the previous council and previous city manager that are thankfully gone. Having written RFPs and engineering contracts in my career, my experience showed checkpoints and progress reviews are critical to success. False statements by the city manager that his chosen alignment was necessary for sewer lines was later disproven by Clean Water Services. His statement that Washington County required a collector was disproven when Washington County said the roads within King City were entirely up to King City and a collector was not required. This community was stopped from voting on the UGB expansion for Kingston Terrace by the previous manager and city council. When they then forced their very unpopular TSP on citizens, we revolted and recalled the mayor and councilors. Public outreach during the TSP process and the recall election was loud and clear. We don't want neighborhood streets changed to collector, as was done to Edgewater. We don't want the traffic, reduced safety, and noise. We can't leave this process to the planner involved in the previous failed process to work with another engineering company looking to rubber stamp the old TSP. We need progress reviews to council. We need active engagement by council at each stage of the TSP review to guide process. Conclusions and decisions need to come from council, not staff or contracted engineers. We need to get this right this time. We need neighborhood streets for King City, not a collector for outsiders to speed through our neighborhood and destroy our community. Thank you.
All right, Gary Mitchell.
Good evening, councilors. So happens that I'm going to talk about something that's on the agenda, but it's also regarding the city engineer's report on the status of the request for proposal for the current TSP amendment. It struck me in reading this that there could be more specificity in the outline. I don't know what the RFP is actually going to say, but one of the first things that I think would be helpful for the RFP to include would be to consider analyzing data from the TSP alternatives analysis that would include to contact the ODOT Region 1 planning staff to confirm that the city would like to prepare and adopt a minor legislative amendment to the TSP to change the alignment of the future plan. Additionally, identify that we'd like the consultant to contact the Department of Land Conservation and Development to express the intent to prepare and adopt a minor legislative amendment to the TSP. Also identify the appropriate public engagement and hearing process to complete the minor changes to the TSP, and also plan holding hearings at the Planning Commission and City Council and provide all the necessary public and Department of Land Conservation and Development noticing for those hearings. And I think if we would include that specificity, it would greatly improve the outcome of the request for proposal. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Dan Brenner, already on your way.
evening. Thank you for the time to speak. I'm here to request that the following item be added to the agenda for the next council meeting held in February. We respectfully ask for the City Council to make a resolution to support our efforts that are laid out in the petition before you. Hopefully you've gotten that. Our goal is to protect the acreage described in this packet by removing it from the UGB. We ask for your support so that we may take this proposal before Washington County and in front of Metro. As you can see in your packet, there are 33 addresses that are inside of the proposed area. 100% of the homeowners have signed this petition. They are all single-family homes. Most of them have been there for decades. The entire area is located to the south of where the city's maps show any new development that already account for the 3,300 plus homes that are planned. With this area being removed, it would, excuse me, it would not affect the progress in the development of Kingston Terrace at all. As you know, the majority of development is to the west of 150th, while any planned development east of 150th is concentrated considerably north of the acreage proposed for removal. Just as with the upcoming development of the Kensington Square parcel, none of the developable land on your maps will be affected, nor will it affect the extension of Fisher Road to 137th in the least, should that ever come to fruition. By removing this short stretch of river frontage from the UGB, it will continue to be an excellent buffer for the Beef Bend Nature Preserve, the Heritage Pines Reserve, and the National Wildlife Refuge that are directly across the river. As you are well aware, due to the rapid development of what had been forested agricultural land, a large majority of acreage in this entire area is being taken away from all of the wildlife that has always been there. They deserve an area that will remain safe and protected. The removal of this land from the UGB will help accomplish this. Please assist us in our efforts to protect this area by supporting this petition and create a resolution that will show your support for this endeavor. Thank you very much.
So that was exactly 3 minutes. Well done.
Good job.
I hope I could do it in 2 minutes and 28 seconds.
Gretchen.
Good evening, Gretchen Beener, 16585 Southwest Royalty Parkway. I mentioned this issue a couple of months ago, that this is the 60th anniversary of the incorporation of King City. And I would like to have an agenda item added at hopefully February, that this council will look into getting some events going this summer, maybe having a big potluck picnic down at the park. Maybe some flags like they had for the 50th. Some of you have been around and remember the lovely banners that were up. I think it would be really helpful to bring the city back together to have a little bit of a celebration. 60 years is a long time. Thank you.
Thank you. Mike Meyer.
Hi, Mike Meyer, Kingston Terrace, and I see that the TSP is on the agenda for tonight. And I'm hopeful that that's moving along and the RFP process is moving along, so anxious to hear the update on that. Secondly, for a future agenda item, my wife and I have been noticing, this time of year especially, the crosswalk out front here is not very well lit. Coming across from the KCCA parking lot over to City Hall here. And tonight, just caught Gary Woods out of the corner of my eye. He was dressed in dark clothing. So luckily we didn't take Gary Woods out tonight. But I think that a street light there would be really a good idea. Thank you.
Do we have anyone online? If you are attending via Zoom and you would like to provide public comment, please raise your hand. I think we are frozen. Honey, I think we're frozen.
There's a back of somebody and that's not there.
Yep, that's my point.
The audio's still working. Oh, there we go.
There it's good. I saw Steve's hands move.
Again, if you are attending via Zoom and you would like to provide public comment, please raise your hand. Hearing none, we will go ahead and close open forum. Moving on. We'll start with unfinished business. Only item there is our TSP relook update.
Hi, Mayor. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hey, Max.
Let's see if I can get this going. Yeah, so the TSP relook is moving along. We Consor opened the RFP last week, and I believe consultants have until February 22nd to submit their proposals. I actually met with a interested consultant earlier today. They just kind of wanted to know sort of the scope of what the city's looking for, what they're expected to do. While I was listening to the public comments, I believe Gary mentioned public outreach and DLCD notices. All that will be generally taken care of by the city, but I expressed that when whichever consultant that we ultimately choose, they'll do their studies, but then those studies will need to be essentially defended and explained to the public in whatever capacity. So we'll do open houses, obviously public hearings at the Planning Commission, at the City Council, however long that might take. But yeah, it's moving along. We have an estimate from Consor at around 100,000, so it's a little bit less than what we were originally anticipating. And I'm happy to answer any other questions that the council may have, but we're definitely moving on it.
So if the deadline for submission is February 27th, does that mean council will look at it at the March meeting?
Yeah,
Okay.
that would be the plan. So the proposals would be then heard by the council in special presentations, and they would ultimately decide which one to go with.
What was that date again, Max? 22nd or 27th?
I think it's the 22nd. I'd have to check the 22nd.
When is our February meeting?
Yeah, it's after the February meeting.
Will council be able to review that before the meeting, or will it all just be presented and then we?
Well, I believe that the 22nd date is the deadline.
Yeah.
So depending on if we receive those proposals beforehand, but a lot goes into it. You'll definitely be able to review it prior to the March meeting for sure.
Perfect. That's my question. I didn't mean before the February.
Oh,
Just sorry.
yeah.
Before we actually hear it in March, would we be able to review all of it?
Yeah, as soon as we get the final proposals and the bidding process closes, then we'll send them out to the council to review.
Perfect. Any further questions? All right. Thank you, Max.
Thank you, Mayor.
Moving on to new business. First item is our December 2025 financials. Do we have Katie or Mira with us?
Can you hear me okay?
Hi, Katie. Yep.
Hi. Do you have the packet in front of you?
Yes.
Oh, I'm seeing myself a bunch of times in your camera. Can you? I'll just get started unless
We can
someone tells me otherwise.
Yeah, we can see you. Go for it.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so I just wanted to call out a few items as notes to the financial statements. We finally, as we've been telling you for the last few months, we're expecting that property tax income to come in, and it has come in now. So you'll see that the property tax revenue through December is at 94% of budget. So that's as we expected. Those payments come in big lumps. So we're getting much more caught up on the revenue side of the spend. We also noted that several departments are under their expenditure budget for the year. The council department is over budget slightly, which is mostly due to timing of when the audit payment happens, because the budget is spread evenly through the whole year, and the audit payment was made now, so it'll catch up. And then legal fees were a little bit higher than anticipated. I'm hoping that in our training sessions, I will be able to show you how to actually drill into those details to see what's making up these numbers. So it'll be a little bit more clear for the council to see what the numbers are. But those are some things I wanted to highlight. And I've continued to highlight the contingency and reserve allocations. Those have not changed. I've just noted that. And also the checking account balances has gone up, mostly because we've been getting those property tax payments. What questions, comments, concerns do you have for me? Or Mira? I think Mira is probably also on.
I think I just had oh, did somebody? Go ahead, Councilor Cunningham.
Thank you. I have a question, perhaps something I don't understand. The first line under highlights, the total fund balance is 5.8 held in checking and LGIP up from 4.7 in November.
Councilor Cunningham, I'm sorry to cut you off. It's a little hard to hear you.
I think you're talking about the first bullet under the highlights, but I couldn't tell if there was a question there.
Can you explain it to me?
Oh, that's basically our bank balance.
But why isn't that 4.7?
Why did it go up?
Yes.
Between November and December?
Yes, please.
Oh, as I mentioned, it's mostly due to the fact that we've been getting more property tax payments in. As I mentioned earlier, our revenue has spiked because we've been getting a lot of revenue in the door.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a question. Katie, you mentioned something about
Yes.
checking account. I think I read somewhere in the audit last month that needs to be corrected, or two people need to.
Sorry, Steve. Yeah, Steve, it's the checking account plus our LGIP savings account that's basically held with the state of Oregon. So it's those two accounts combined. We don't have the ability to just write a check for 5.8 million. So the actual checking account balance is much, much lower than that, and it is below the insurance threshold.
So what was the one the auditors were talking about?
They were talking about having the balance in the checking account below the FDIC insured amount, and I think at one point it went above just because of timing of payments, which I think it's usually FDIC insurance is usually $250, but I think for certain accounts it's more. So it's the checking account balance is maintained well below $250,000.
And didn't they say something about it wasn't reconciled as frequently?
Oh, timing of reconciliations? Yes, there was a period of time where we changed banks. I think it was in kind of late 2024, where some of the bank accounts weren't reconciled timely. But what we're saying now is we're actually reconciled through December as of January. They recommend having bank accounts reconciled within 30 to 60 days. So we're well within that threshold.
So that's a non-issue now, isn't it?
Yes.
I just wanted to provide extra information for you all. Katie is going to lead 2 different in-person sessions to teach us counselors how to look through the Cassell program that we use, which is really exciting. So we all have logins now where we can look at the financials, and so we're going to get properly trained on that over the next week and a half or so. So we're pretty excited about that.
That's a big
Excellent. And yeah, you do not have to attend both sessions, and they're not long because I think I'm going to be training you for 2 hours. They're a window of time where I'm hoping we can come and make sure you can log in, show you how to, I'm thinking it's 15 to 30 minutes to actually show you how to use the system. So I didn't want you to be intimidated by those big meeting times.
Thank you. We just appreciate you leading us through all of it. So thank you for all
Of course,
the work that you've
my
done
pleasure.
in to look in all of it, so we appreciate that.
Yes, I'm excited to show you.
Any other questions or comments on our financials? Okay, would somebody like to move to approve?
I move to approve
The
financials.
December 2025?
Yes.
Do you want to go ahead and restate your motion, please?
I approve the financials of December 2025, is that right? Is that the date?
That works. Do I hear a second?
A second.
Motion on the floor is to approve the December 2025 financials. Council President Gearhart.
Yes.
Councilor Cunningham.
Yes.
Councilor Tyso.
Yes.
Councilor Arditi.
Yes.
Mayor Kazmierski, yes. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you, Katie. Next, we have our Charter Review Committee presentation.
Yeah. Hi, guys. Is that loud enough? Okay. Good evening. I'm going to give you a little note. There's only 10 slides, so it's not too much. And with me tonight, I'm Gretchen Diener. This is Jennifer Johnson, who is on the committee. We worked really hard, and we worked together to get this presentation put together for you tonight. Slide, please. Slide 2. Okay, this is the list of committee members, and I want to thank Ronnie and all the members for their hard work, including many hours of researching charters of other cities and the brand new, literally down 3 weeks ago, new master form for charters from the League of Oregon Cities. That all of that material has been incorporated in the draft that we are providing to you this evening. Slide, please. The committee was charged to review and update the charter to ensure that King City government meets the needs of now and in the future for Elige. The charter is the constitution for the city, decided upon by the residents. The charter creates the template for operation of the city as we know it. The approved charter will govern how the council is to operate in setting forth policies for the running of the city, which will be done by the city manager. If it's approved, it would go into effect in January of 27. So any appointments, elections that occur prior to that effective date would be under the old charter. Okay, I'm going to let Jennifer talk.
Next slide, please. So we had some general goals with the charter to take the language that had been there quite a while and make it a little more friendly and understandable, concise and clear, as well as legally compliant. We also took into account voter requests, things that we'd been hearing from voters about what they wanted, and also to eliminate some of the redundancies and contradictions that were in the charter. Next slide, please. So in terms of kind of the process we met monthly. We're not going to go into all of the details of what was discussed and the changes. It's all in the minutes and in the drafts and the memo that Ronnie put together for us. As Gretchen mentioned, we researched best practices and found some great information out there We used a number of other city charters as kind of springboards for ideas, including Tigard and West Lynn and so on. We discussed the pros and cons. We had a lively discussion back and forth. It stayed very collegial, but there was a lot of discussion and really looking at things, taking turns playing the devil's advocate, and really making sure that whatever we recommended was well thought out. And then the draft was reviewed by the city attorney and the parliamentarian. So here's, oh, next slide, please. This is just a general overview of some of the big changes that we are suggesting. First of all, a direct election of the mayor for two main reasons. One is, the mayor has a lot of extra responsibilities, a lot of extra time commitments. So we felt that they should choose that and choose to go under election for that. As well as the fact that the mayor represents the city, and so the people probably would like to have some input into that. Another big change we're recommending is how vacancies are handled on the council. We would like to have vacancies that are longer than a year left in the term to go up for a vote of the electorate, as opposed to, perhaps a long-term appointment. That way, there would always be a majority of the council that is elected as opposed to appointed. We did some kind of housekeeping around clarifying the duties of the mayor, council president, councilors. We removed the prohibition on compensation. We're not saying that there should be compensation, but that we don't want to have in the charter that it is prohibited, and that if that comes up at a later date, that can be evaluated by a committee. We also felt that there were some ideas that were in the charter that were really more appropriate for the council rules of procedure and also job descriptions. It really kind of, the current charter is kind of in the weeds about, who's doing what tasks, and that really is more of a job description than a charter. Also guidelines regarding when council rules can be suspended. And we also are suggesting a reinforcement of the non-interference rules. There was also a section on public rail, and that is not necessary anymore. So we removed that section. We also added a section allowing for future urban renewal district to be created if that is appropriate, particularly when the new development is built out and populated. And then we recommend that the charter be reviewed and updated periodically, preferably at the next year after each census. Those are the highlights of our recommendations.
Okay, as Jennifer said, most of the really big work is in Articles 4 and 5. Most of the stuff that was done at the beginning and at the very end was kind of wordsmithing. But the last thing is, what are the next steps? I understand you're going to have a workshop in March and hopefully go through this. And one of the things that the city attorney recommended is that the provision regarding the city attorney, which is 5.6, if my numbering is correct. Ronnie, I know numbers got changed. That the council take a quick look at that so that everybody's comfortable with that provision in the charter. But bottom line is, on your final charter, next steps is that council, I just talked about the city attorney, and the council should review the provision regarding suspension of council rules. It's a very unusual situation And it's really important that everybody on the council understands that particular provision. You're going to review things at the March workshop. You want to prepare a referral. It has to be in to the county, all with bells on, by around the 1st of September. So it absolutely needs to be finalized and ready for Ronnie to send it on in August. It's going to be obviously referred to the voters. It would be on the November 26th ballot. And the recommendation is to vote on the entire charter as a whole. If we break it up into pieces, that could actually be confusing to the voters. Because we worked really hard to get legalese out, make it simple for everyone to understand. And finally, we need to update, once this is done, related ordinances, because there's a whole series of ordinances that have been in place for years and years that will need to be changed to reflect the updated charter language. And if there's any questions?
I do have a question in the statement. In fact, first I need to declare potential ex parte because I was on the committee in the beginning and then I attended a lot of the meetings towards the end. My experience with this committee was incredible. You guys really, really, really worked hard, and I'm so impressed with how that group of people from all walks of life was able to come together and like you said, Jen, act as the devil's advocate. It was so impressive for me to sit back in the back row and watch. It's a great lesson for everybody. Anyway, that's it.
I would also like to just thank you guys for all of your hard work. We have seen and known that we've got lots of things that need to be fixed, so we very much appreciate all the time that you guys have spent volunteering your time and providing all of these recommendations for us.
Well, I have two things that I want to say. First, I want to thank the members of the committee, and I'm hoping, if Ronnie has their phone numbers, I'd like to have them over to my house to just say thank you. But secondly, I want to make sure the council realizes how much work Ronnie put into this process. Innumerable hours he has done this, and we could not have accomplished this in the time frame without his tremendous work between meetings. And I think it's really important that he be recognized.
Thank you. Round of applause for all of you.
And Ronnie, you're invited. And get people to, if you have phone numbers so I can call the members. Because I want to thank them.
All right. Thank you so much.
And so a question, Mayor, we'll be getting copies of this,
Yeah.
the before and after changes.
Yes, I believe.
Study it and then talk about it. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, so you have a couple things to, I guess, when do you want to have the next workshop on this particular issue?
My preference would be not in March. I think in February would be better. We have our strategic planning February or March 6th.
And not only that, you're gonna have a whole lot of work sessions after that too, because I'm pretty sure we're not gonna get a whole lot of stuff done on March 6th. I mean, we're gonna get a lot of stuff done, but it's gonna be,
So if you guys are okay for planning something in the next couple weeks,
Sure.
even if this be,
Madam Mayor, if you would like me to be there to answer any questions at that point, I would be glad to. It's up to you.
it'll be a public workshop, so if you would like to join, that would be great, yeah.
so our next meeting is February 18th, which I believe we have a public hearing
Yeah,
that day.
yep.
And then the 11th, I think we have a planning commission.
Okay.
So we're open on the 4th. We can do during the lunch hour, during the day, or we can do a Thursday or like Tuesday or something like that.
What is your preference, Counselor Tyso? I know that this is your busy time.
It's a, but this do a workaround. I can be here from 8 a.m. until about 3:30
On the fourth?
on the 4th. It's my parameter.
February.
February 4th. That would work. That would work for me. Counselors Arditi and Cunningham, how does the 4th look for you guys? Not that,
Oh, yeah.
don't know yet?
Back to you.
Okay.
I think Wednesdays are always good for me. I've started a little part-time job, so I'm not working on Wednesdays.
Wednesdays, okay.
So Wednesdays.
And not that we necessarily have to go 8 to 3, but if we've got a time frame in there that, I imagine if we start in the morning, then we can just go till
Kind of go
we're,
until we're done.
till we're done. So that works. Let's go ahead and do February 4th, and then hopefully Counselor Didi will be able to join us as well. Does that work?
8 to 3 is the time?
Sure. Awesome. Okay. Next item, we have Resolution 2026-01, a resolution to honor Native American heritage through street, parks, and green space naming. Counselor Didi, would you like to inform us about this resolution?
I think this came up in our last meeting, and I went and did some fact-finding after that. So Ronnie actually did a great job of writing up the preamble to this. I just gave him the basics of my resolution, and he added the preamble. So good work, Ronnie, that you did a good job. I wouldn't even vote for this. And I think that's a good thing, since I proposed it, so. Basically what I did was I talked to Pam Verdandano. She's our new homes gal out there at, in the new development, and asked her how she would feel about that. And the names of the streets out there already been decided, so that won't happen. But on all new developments or anything to do with the city, this is that proposition for this resolution. Then I contacted Bobby Mercier down at Grand Ronde, did some research on that, did some research on some names. Ronnie followed up with David Higgins. Okay, Ronnie followed up with him to make sure that we were on the same page. So we wanted to do all that, and then I touched bases with our state representative, Suzanne Reiki-Smith, to make sure that that was okay with them. And that's how we got to where we are right now. So that's the resolution.
Thank you so much for all the legwork you did on that.
And just to be clear that the Grand Ronde tribe did say that they found no issues with the writing and good with it.
With the resolution, right?
resolution.
Yeah, they reviewed it. Awesome. Does anybody have any questions or comments for Counselor Didi or anything in general regarding this? Counselor Didi, thank you so much for bringing this forward and for all the legwork that you did. I know there were a lot of communicating that you did over the last month to get this on our agenda for today.
You're welcome. It was not a big deal.
It was.
It will be a big deal for them. But,
Would somebody like to move to approve resolution?
Can I make a motion to approve
You
it?
sure can.
All right. I make a motion to approve resolution R 2026-01A. Resolution to honor Native American heritage through streets, parks, and green space naming.
I hear a second.
I second.
Okay, motion on the table is to approve resolution R-2026-01, a resolution to honor Native American heritage through street, parks, and green space naming. Go to vote. Council President Gearhart. Councilor Tyso.
Yes.
Councilor Cunningham.
Yes.
Councilor Arditi.
Yes.
Mayor Kazmersky, yes. Motion passes 5-0. Next item, we have King City events, 4th of July and Farmers Market. Aaron, are you helping us with this one?
Yes.
Okay.
Turn it on.
All right. So this is kind of just a general feel out. I know that the 4th of July is obviously very important to all of us. So we would like to get started on planning that. We did have conversations with some members of, thank you so much. some members of Tigard and some previous planning people, just to make sure that we can get the ball rolling on this early. So then that way we can make sure that the route goes to the park or however we'd like to do it, and just hear out different ideas. If there's food trucks we'd like to have, and then, however the process is to make sure that we can make this a great 4th of July event. We also considered the idea of maybe rolling that 60th incorporation anniversary in with our 4th of July event since they're really close. So not opposed to that idea. And then in terms of farmers market, I know Councilor Arditi and the mayor and myself have been communicating on that and seeing if we can communicate with Tigard and how they have their farmers market. So, do I have to read this?
No, so what are you don't have to.
Okay.
You need a mic, Ronnie.
One of the other things that we kind of discussed is about doing a events committee. The council will kind of like what we do with planning commission and budget and all that. So I made a motion in here that you guys can reword it however you guys want. But I think moving forward for each 4th of July and every event, we're starting to get to the point where we need an actual committee to help out with that. So, because Aaron and I have a lot going on.
So could we call this like an events committee? And so
Yeah.
that way it could be a general, like, we're gonna,
It could be not just 4th of July. It could be for I don't know, neighborhood park day or.
So Aaron, I have a question. Would this be something that all the HOAs would be involved in also?
I would love for them to be involved and
Would
make
that be
sure.
great?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, once we establish it and we get kind of a time frame of who would like to be involved and like how we can set up a timeline and do a work back schedule. So like I said, I would love to see all the HOAs involved, and maybe we can have like a 4th of July competition. I've seen a couple different things. I've been doing some research on like decoration competitions, things like that. So I'd love to see the HOAs involved.
Aaron, have we contacted the realtor, Elaine Sims, who's done the KCCA 4th of July parade and picnic forever?
We are I'm at least very early in this process, so I have not made any contact with anyone yet, but I'm welcome to all suggestions and previous stuff. So if you can pass that along to me, and then that way I can also, with the events committee, get that ball rolling.
Thank you.
I've been in contact with some of the 4th of July committees from KCCA and stuff like that, but I haven't talked to Eileen yet personally. Elaine.
Sims. She's out of the country.
And there's Heather Wakeham.
I've talked to Heather Wakeham. I've talked to Stephanie Hartman. I've talked to somebody else too.
I do have all the documentation when we started it back 6 years ago when we had the King City Community Foundation. And I have all the documentation and everything we did on that I can. Yes,
So, Ronnie,
I know
one of
it's
the reasons that it's the Ken Miller Real Estate Group, really, and Elaine is sort of the lead on that. But one of the lovely things that they do that is just always so nice is that they line the streets of KCCA with flags. And it's just, I don't know, it just does something to you, right? But that's not all of King City. And I don't know if we need to add on to that so that we include our neighbors. Huh?
It's the parade route.
yeah, that's.
Is it? Because I walked the parade route last year and it didn't go up to Water.
So the flags are for the KCCA
Right.
parade route.
But the question is, could
And we
you
did do
make a
it.
note of maybe adding that onto the whole parade route so that it looks like we are one city?
Yes, agree.
A couple weeks ago, I met with Metro Councilor Rosenthal, and he had mentioned that they have grants, just like a couple small grants for city events. And I'm wondering if this might be something we could reach out to him for.
Double the flags.
Especially if we need to buy double the flags and maybe double the toilets. That was an issue maybe last year.
Well, for some people.
I don't know. But that might be something that we could look into for small grant for that. Okay, I think it would be a great idea for us to have a committee to help out with all the planning and whatnot. Does everyone want to take a second and look at the motion that Ronnie gave to us, and we can see if that makes sense or if we want to change it a little bit?
Yeah, you guys can do a stand Indies and talk about it for a little bit.
Okay, it's on, well, it's on the second to last page of this, of your
Excuse me.
motions.
That's the second thing.
So item 8.
Yeah, item 8. So it says, I move to direct city manager and staff to establish an advisory events committee to plan a July 4th of parade and festival and explore the feasibility of a farmer's market in King City with committee members appointed by the mayor.
I make a motion for that.
Just, you like how it's worded?
Makes sense.
Okay.
And I, Madam Mayor?
Yeah.
I just want to double check with the attorney that is the correct language.
Yes.
That's, yeah.
The mayor could appoint committee members to an ad hoc, or
Yes.
a special committee.
The mayor does have the authority,
I did do that for our hiring panel.
yes, the mayor shall represent
I just wanted to
city.
make
So let's hope it was
and
right.
appoint members of citizen advisory board and citizen advisory boards and council committees. So you can call it an citizen advisory board.
Establish so instead of a citizen,
Advisory board.
citizen,
That's in 4.08E.
advisory board
E.
to plan events. Okay, so we're just gonna we're gonna cross out an advisory events committee and replace it with a citizen advisory board. Does that work?
Yes.
Okay. Somebody would like to make that motion? You can go ahead and vote on it.
I made that motion.
Let's read it one more time.
I move to direct the city manager and staff to establish a citizen advisory board to plan a July 4th parade and festival and explore the feasibility of a farmer's market in King City with committee members appointed by the mayor.
And I'll second that.
All right, let's go to roll call. Counselor Tyso.
Yes.
Counselor Arditi.
Yes.
Counselor Cunningham.
Yes.
Council President Gerhart. Mayor Kazmersky, yes. Motion passes 5-0.
May I ask a question about the farmer's market?
You may.
So I was in a farmer's market last year in Tualatin, and I have some contacts for the people that organized that. So when the advisory committee goes on board, I'd be glad to tell them those contacts.
Would it be a good idea to forward to Aaron too, as well?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So Aaron, I owe you 2 things now, right?
Good.
Stack them up.
Aaron and I are gonna have a meeting with Megan DeSalvo, who's the executive director of the Tiger Chamber of Commerce,
Great,
for that, because that's where it's gonna start.
perfect. All right, moving on, we've got appointments to Budget Committee, and we've got Viva as our only applicant.
Smart move.
It's like, so is there anybody else on the Budget Committee, or is this brand new?
No, it's Patty.
Okay. Said that?
Gretchen, thank you.
Okay, Patty, Gretchen, so there's 2 of you so far?
Yeah, I still have a couple open spots, so
Okay. How many do we typically have? 5?
7.
7. Ooh. Okay, we have a few open spots to the Budget Committee if anybody is interested in joining. But for tonight, we will consider the appointment of Viva to the Budget Committee. Would anybody like to ask questions of Viva?
I think you're elected, Viva, don't mess with it. You got it.
Thank you, Vince, good advice.
You have served on the Budget Committee before, right?
This would be my third term, serving
third
on the Budget Committee. And I did serve on the Charter Review Committee. And I was a founding member of the King City Community Foundation. And we did do the parade for a few years.
Great. Open it up for questions, anybody? No? All right, would anybody like to move to appoint? Okay,
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Viva
Gaylor, like Taylor with a G.
to the budget committee. Is that good enough?
that's good enough. I hear a second. All righty. Moved and seconded, motion on the floor is to appoint Viva Gaylor to the Budget Committee. Council President Gerhart.
Yes.
Councilor Tyso.
Yes.
Counselor Cunningham?
Yes.
Counselor Arditi?
Not quite sure. Think about it. I think you're good, yes.
Too old, huh?
That was a yes. Okay. Mayor Kazmersky, yes. Motion passes 5-0. Viva, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, make a comment.
I just want to make a comment.
Who's second?
Now, since you are the only member of the committee, you are charged with finding all of your cohorts.
I've spoken before, I tried to pump, like I tried to promote it here a few years ago. It's not the longest time commitment, because I am still working and I can work and do this, so.
Right. Thank you. All right, that concludes our finished business, our new business. Moving on, we have police chief's report.
That'll be me again, I think, for the last time. Can step up again. First, I wanted to just acknowledge the good work of our staff again. 2025 was rather crazy, as we all know. But we did have the Passport Services Office of Acceptance Facility Oversight here for our annual audit. And I do want to give you the number of passports we did here, which was 6,853. I want to also point out that that's over a 25% increase from 2024. So to add to the chaos of last year, even more chaos. We all know that everyone wears a lot of hats here, but they have to get these done in the meantime. So I would like to publicly thank Sam, Ronnie, Max, Mira, Diana, Aaron for a fabulous job as we pass the audit with flying colors. So
Well done.
good job. Okay, moving on. I do have a couple things. The police department have been doing some pretty big things over the last couple weeks. We began a quest to become accredited with our property and evidence division. It's a lot of work because we don't have a tech, so the chief and I have taken on that task. And that included last week we took a field trip down to Eugene and partnered with Aftermath Biohazard Cleanup, and we disposed of over 40 pounds of narcotics out of our city. And then the next big step was firearms. We partnered, actually today, we threw on hard hats and work coats today, and we went down to McMinnville to Cascade Steel, if anyone's familiar, and actually went in there, and we brought in over 120 pounds of firearms, and we melted those with them. So that was quite a process, a lot of dust. But yes, that was two really big steps for our police department to get rid of decades of narcotics and firearms that have been here. So that's about it.
Those firearms, were they like turned in, confiscated?
So it's
mixture?
Yes and yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, and yes.
Okay.
So it's over the past literally decades. It's been people that we just had a couple more. Like people will turn them in if someone passes away, of a spouse, they'll turn them in for destruction. Safekeeping, we have seized them over the years for cases. Either cases are closed now or not going anywhere, or we've been ordered by the district attorney to get rid of them. So it's a big mixed bag.
So how do you get rid of or dispose of the narcotics?
Like literally how?
Yeah.
We got to go through and itemize and box them all up and package it all the way the facility demands per their policy and drive it down. And we got to see the whole thing through. Literally take pictures, see it through to the actual physical destruction to confirm it's been destroyed and something hasn't happened in between, dropping it off. So it's not like that. So it's quite a painstaking process, and it's taken a lot of work. And we are very happy that part is done. So we're a lot lighter here now. When's the last time it was done, Chief?
10 years.
That we,
How often? I mean,
well, we were participating in the drug take backs, and that became kind of a laborious task, to be able to do to, receive them and then take them to another location. And so now, one of the things that hopefully we're going to have here pretty soon is, a kiosk here where we'll receive them and we can then package and ship them off. There's
kind of like Walgreens.
the DEA is starting another program to help get rid of that, so it takes a little bit of pressure off of them. But and when you're talking about the destruction, one of the things that we do is they turn it into basically a charcoal dust. They render it inert. They have a spray that they do. The machine actually broke down when we were there. and they were actually cutting everything open by hand and then spraying and destroying it. And it was quite something to see. And this company does anywhere from, we brought, what do we say, 120 pound, about 40 pound, 40 pound boxes down there, and they'll go to places down in Arizona or Southern California where they're, I think they said 68 tons that they're going to be getting rid of and stuff. So it's quite a bit. It's quite an undertaking. And, especially even with the steel mill, as many tears as I have destroying weapons and stuff like that, something that we need to do. And, it's literally just like in the movies. They just dump it into a smelter and it is incinerated.
It was a shocking process, honestly.
I can imagine for you
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah, a lot of sparks.
A related question then, would you say drug use is going down in our community or up?
There's been a decrease. There has been a decrease. There's been a decrease in our overdose calls, a decrease in fentanyl overdoses. It has gone down. Yes. Still happening a lot, but it has gone down.
Do you know it? Last month we talked about. I think Sergeant Aragoni was putting on the
Yes.
scam. Is that still happening?
We
She's
have
putting
it
on the
here,
scam.
but now we have to flip
The
it. Yeah,
seminar.
We are. It's going to be February 8th, 7th. February 7th.
February
we have
7th.
Confirmed. We're going to actually have U.S. Bank heavily involved. They're bringing in actual fraud.
Is it at KCCA or at?
It's going to be at KCCA.
KCCA at-
And actually, Aaron's going to talk about that here in a minute.
Great.
Oh,
Sorry
that's
to steal your.
Because I have a question about that at
Yeah,
Casey.
she's going to talk about that.
Okay. We'll
for Erin.
Yeah, we'll wait for her. Sorry, Erin. Okay.
I don't have anything else.
All right.
A lot going on, but we're getting it done. So.
Thank you. Okay. City manager's report.
So I got a few things. Brian stole a few things,
Sorry about
but
that.
especially on the passport. And one of the things we're going to bring up, and especially since you talked about the budget committee coming up, is one of the things I think we need to really look at is that with the 6,800 and some odd passports that we did at 30, we received $35 of that money that's returned to us by Department of State. So annually, we're bringing in roughly around $238,000, as the service that we provide. And I'm going to ask for more personnel because it's one of those things where we're busy enough. They're doing the rough average is between 27 and 34 a day. But there was a time a week ago or 2 weeks ago where there were 5 employees were at the front counter because we were so busy. And so basically what that means is nothing else is getting done. And the stuff that we look forward to of having, the timely reports where we talk about finance stuff being done or planning reports or, city recorder, because it's Ronnie, it's Max, it's Aaron, it's Mira, it's Diana, everybody's coming up and helping out, and Sam. And so it's something that I think we need to seriously look at now is to help provide some relief for them to be up on the counter, and that way they can sit and kind of do their actual job duty, and rather than just kind of the others as assigned, as we say. So that's one of the things I hope that we get a chance to look at coming up because it's coming up real soon. There's a draft on the HR policies that's been submitted. I'm going to wait until Vince is here, and so we're going to onboard him here on Friday the 30th. And so that's one of the things that we'll put on his plate to help him kind of look at it and do some edits as well. And that kind of rolls me into the next thing with Vince, passing, his pre-employment test that we have. So we welcome him on board coming up a week from Friday. There was one other thing that I think we may have not gotten on the schedule. There's a letter that we have that just came through the door for us. It's a letter in support of Senate Bill 1585. I think that you have a copy of that. And that is a bill that just came up that from the League of Oregon Cities called us yesterday and was looking for our support. And basically what this bill is it's a bill that helps us with grants, and where we get the grants and we don't have to pay as much the matching funds, and it's going to cap it based on your population of your city. So based on our population right now, the grants that would be offered, we'd have to match at 7%, I believe it was. And so it's considerably less, and it's kind of an easy one to get to support and be behind. And so the letter that's in front of you would be to help direct Mayor Kazmersky to sign and transmit to Senator Courtney Neron. I see she's got a new last name, is it Mislin? And so we asked that, that was that a resolution that we had in there to, to sign that and to be able to send that.
I don't think we have a resolution in here, but there is, do we need a resolution to have consensus for me to sign, or? Well, there's a motion. I think the motion is for me to sign this letter. I don't know if we need to make that into a formal resolution or not.
I'm gonna defer that to our attorney. I don't think so.
Okay. Okay, sorry, we're still on that. Okay.
So we're good there with the letter?
Missy, can we?
Yeah. Sorry.
Can the? She's like.
Oh, yes, you can do it by voice motion.
Just to approve that I signed the letter. We don't need a resolution for it.
Correct.
Okay, perfect. Does anybody have any questions on the letter or any issue?
I think you might want to copy that to Sue Ricky Smith. She, Courtney Neron came from her district. That's how Courtney Neron got to where she is, so that might be appropriate. Or else I'll do it. It's up to you.
That would be appropriate to send to your office as well. Can we add onto this letter to send to Ms. Sue Reiki as well? Thank you.
Yeah, we'll just sign the letter.
Once I sign it, we can send it wherever. Okay.
Oh, we'll hand her a copy right here since she's here.
Signed copy, hot off the press.
That'd be great.
Okay, would somebody like to move that we, okay?
I move that the city council authorize the mayor to sign and transmit a letter of support for Senate Bill 1585 to the Honorable Senator Courtney Neron Mislin and Representative Sue Ricky Smith and her.
And Representative Sue Ricky Smith.
Thank you.
Okay, may I hear a second?
I second.
Okay, motion on the table is to move that the city council authorize mayor to sign and transmit a letter of support for Senate Bill 1585 to the Honorable Senator Courtney Neron Mislin and Representative Sue Ricky Smith. Councilor Arditi.
Yes.
Councilor Cunningham.
Yes.
Councilor Tyso.
Yes.
Council President Gearhart.
Yes.
Mayor Kazmersky. Yes. Motion passes 5-0. Do you want me to sign the one that I have? Does that conclude your report?
Not yet.
Okay.
I had one
Moving
more
on.
item that,
Okay.
that dealt with a workplace investigation that was basically with the mayor, in which there was an accusation of a hostile work environment, and we employed Dee Rubinoff of Oregon Employment Investigations, and she took a look into the complaint and found. Just the summary of it is that there was no harassment as was alleged, or anything as far as a hostile work environment, accusation that could be proved, and it ultimately was the complaint was withdrawn, and with the person that made the complaint, and so that's kind of where it ended.
And how much did the investigation cost?
That's my question.
$2,200, I think it was.
And who pays for
That's we paid for that. Now that's just with Dee Rubinoff, and that doesn't include Missy's time that she spent on it as well.
Sure.
And so I know we have that bill. I don't think I looked at it, but we're probably close to 3,000, roughly, right in there.
So it would probably take legal action to get the named person to pay for it, I would guess.
It's Council President Gearhart. There's really no way to recoup that money. It is a city expense.
Okay.
But the complaint was withdrawn after you
dispute after the investigation or during the investigation?
Counselor, I don't actually think that it was withdrawn. I think what happened was the investigator essentially closed the complaint after concluding that it was not sustained. I think that's how I would say it. Right. No.
Okay. Thank you.
Go ahead, yeah, Counselor Tyson.
Do we get some kind of written recap of this event, series of events, just so that we have solid ground in case somebody asks us a question about it? I'd appreciate that.
Yes, we can get that to you.
Thank you.
Another question. Are we going to have a Meet the City Manager Day?
Great question.
We can definitely work on that. And,
Wouldn't that be fun?
How about at our workshop on February 4th? That's about a few days after he starts, right?
yeah, next Friday is when he starts. He'll be here at 8 a.m.
Come on down to our workshop on February 4th and meet the new city manager.
That'd be fun.
All right, does that conclude your report? Perfect. All right, moving on to staff reports.
Wanna go first? Go for it.
Sure. I'll go first.
Thank you, Erin.
All right. So first, I got a laundry list. So that fraud and scam event. So yes, that was a rescheduled event because we saw so much popularity. So this is going to be between the King City Police Department and the U.S. Bank, and it is going to be at the King City Civic Association Clubhouse, KCCA Clubhouse, February 7th from 1 to 3 p.m. Just talking about fraud, we're talking about scams, we're talking about the tactics that are getting used in these situations and how you can prevent it. Actually, just I believe last week we saw a woman come into City Hall and she was going to send over $30,000 to a scam, and she only came into City Hall because she needed directions to try and send the money. And so she talked with one of our officers, she talked with Sam, and they convinced her she was in fact getting scammed. And it was all because of a pop-up that happened on her computer from Microsoft. So these are very prevalent issues. Washington County Sheriff's Office has put out a lot of information. We see it all the time. So we definitely encourage everyone to come to this event. There's flyers out front, and they're posted all over the place. It's on our social media. So, and then Sergeant Aragoni is kind of the person to email if you've got any additional questions. But yeah, please grab a flyer, bring your friends, bring your family. So it's going to be a really good informational event.
Great.
Speaking of Sergeant Aragoni, I had the honor to attend the Tigard City Council earlier this month because she received a life-saving award for her participation in a life-saving event in September. So it was just really great to see the way that we all can come together with our neighbors, how our PDs come together. It was great to see Sergeant Aragoni honored for that. So that was a really great thing. And then topping on top of that is January 9th was Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. So we appreciate our law enforcement.
Thanks, Aaron.
You're welcome. One additional thing is we have a new survey out. So this survey is about public services and city amenities. So there was a lot of alarm raised about the idea of a pool. There's been no conversations about King City getting a pool. I'm very sorry if that alarmed a bunch of people. This was just a conversation. The survey came about because we wanted to see what amenities our citizens would like to see within the next 5 to 10 years. A lot of conversations have happened about really wanting a post office here, and I know that that process has kind of been started. But what will we use a post office for? A lot of people are saying stamps. The same thing, conversations about a farmer's market. What day would that work best for everybody if people are interested in that? And then, yes, a pool and library were mentioned. Again, there's been no concrete conversations about those sorts of things happening. It was just to see what people are using, but also to see where they're using it. So which public library are people using nearby? Are they using Tigard? Which pool are they using KCCA's or Tigard Tualatin's? So I just wanted to clarify for everyone, please don't panic. But the current results, we're we're seeing some good results. Most people's interest is obviously, like I said, a post office, a farmer's market, and more walking trails or dog pet friendly spaces. So that kind of gives us a really clear direction of the things that they want the city to focus on in the next 5 to 10 years. And I would love to be able to present these results in maybe February or March. I don't have like a solid timeline. Like, I'm just going to let it sit out there and let the results come to me. There are paper versions out front. So if you want to grab one, turn it in to me. I'm happy to tally those results as well. And then also I'll email them to the counselors. So if you guys take them to the HOA meetings and you want to hand them out there, happy to do that. And I'll take some over to KCCA as well. And as for the other thing is the newsletter. So newsletter's coming along well. Looks great. Thank you both to Councilor Arditi and Mayor Kazmierski for their input as well. Max put in a great piece about the grants that we've been receiving. Ronnie wrote a great piece about city council elections and the information to run for city council coming up, as well as we have a great police message and some information about our incoming city manager as well. So if any of the rest of the councilors would like to put in a message between 250 and 300 words, it's due on Monday. But like I said, this is going to be quarterly, so if you guys want to hold off till next quarter, I'm fine with that too. And then my last thing is some really exciting news, at least I guess to me. So we were contacted by a magazine called Business View Magazine, and this is a national magazine that does profiles on small cities and municipalities. One of the things they like to do is highlight the current construction, the growth, the infrastructure that cities have. They're very interested in doing a profile on us in the next upcoming couple months. I had a really great conversation with their research director in terms of what they would need from us, the kind of things we would love to highlight. So moving forward, I'll be contacting, I'm sure, the counselors and additional people to do some interviews and quotes and get us featured in that magazine. So I'm really excited about that. Some good press. So, and that's all I have.
May I ask a question?
Councilor Cunningham, go ahead. You're good. Go ahead.
Do you want to slap me?
A little bit.
Slap me on this side. Aaron, I have a question about the event on February 7th at KCCA.
Yeah.
I went to the KCCA HOA meeting last week, and they talked about it being KCCA and Summerfield. And so I went up after the meeting and said, are we going to invite everyone from King City, like Edgewater and Highland? And they were a bit surprised by that question, which led me to ask you the question, can you help us figure out how to educate some of our people that King City is bigger than KCCA?
Yes.
So did they include Highlands and Edgewater, or will it be open to the public?
My understanding is that it is open to the public. That's how it was presented to me by Sergeant Aragoni. So, and that's how I've been advertising it. The reason that, so like I said, this was we postponed the original event because it was going to be held at the US Bank. It was just too big because it was too popular and they wouldn't have enough room for everybody. So that's why I believe we all reached out to the KCCA to use their clubhouse in order for anybody in King City to be involved and be able to attend. So that's how we're advertising it. And that's how I understand it.
Do you want help from any of us at the door, any of those kinds of things? Would you let us know?
Yes, absolutely. And I'll let Sergeant Aragoni know as well.
Thank you. That's all for me.
Madam Mayor.
I talked when it wasn't my turn.
Just to point out for the survey, all that data that's being collected will be used for the March 6th meeting for the workshop. So we can start using that for strategic planning.
Perfect. I did have a couple questions that I think I meant to ask during the city manager's report, but anybody can answer it. Do we have an office space update? Do we have any idea if that's going to be taken over at any point, or are we just
Nothing
still
as of
no interest?
Still advertised.
Still advertised. Okay. And then I was looking back through my notes, and you had mentioned that we were having issues with our Ring Central and our phones. Has that been cleared up, or are we needing to do something different with that?
No.
To which question?
So the issue keeps happening every now and then. It's not as bad as it was, but it still happens to some of our phones. Our end of contract ends October 26th of 2026. they unfortunately don't have a clause in there saying because of their service we can cancel them. We either keep paying them and go to somebody else or use Ring Central. So right now I have a 30-day window when we get closer to October 26th. That's my day that I'm going to cancel the service, and we already have something set up with Comcast.
Great.
So basically, it should be an easy transition on October 27th.
Okay. Just gotta stick it out a few more months. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's yeah.
Great. Thank you, Council President.
Back to Aaron. So is there going to be maybe like a people's corner or someplace in your newsletter where the public can give you a story or comments or questions or?
I would love for there to be, absolutely. So that is one of those things that I have, I'm really interested in, as well as doing some staff highlights as well, and maybe some counselor highlights as well, just so people get to know our staff and get to know our counselors on, more than just seeing you here once a month, of course. Yeah, I would love to have people send in stories or send in, different events that maybe their HOAs are hosting, things like that, things that they would like to let the public know about. And then another thing that I would like to see is, or photos too, like if you want to just send in photos of an event, things like that too. So, yeah, absolutely. The newsletter can be as long or as short as it needs to be in order for us to make sure people are properly informed. So there's no page limit.
So some of us attend the HOAs on a regular basis, so we can report to them, gee, you guys, you might want to contact Aaron. And
Yeah. If they have HOA events, if they, if they're having a block party or whatever they're doing and things like that, I'm happy to put it in there so it gets the word out to more people, because it is going to be physically mailed out. So.
Okay, cool.
Madam Mayor, the only thing I would add to that is make sure it's city-wide, not just HOA members could attend. Just like, because we're a community, like as Sandra was saying, or Councilor Cunningham was saying, just make it citywide.
Yep, I agree with that. Thank you, Aaron. Ronnie, Max? Nothing? Okay. Did Max have something? We have the engineer memo. Is somebody covering that? Or was it? We got King City permits issued, engineer staff memo.
Max isn't online anymore, so
Okay.
I didn't really read the engineer's report, so I can't really.
I don't have it.
The only thing I could speak to on the city engineer is we've done the right-of-way permits. I think we did 3 or 4 this last month. And that's kind of one of the things that I've been helping Flajohns manage is that. And then for the building permits,
No, you're good, thank you.
So for the building permits, they've had 1 commercial electrical, 10 single-family dwelling permits, 2 electrical, 2 residential mechanicals, and 3 residential plumbing. So they have 169 active permits as of January 11th. And then they issued a couple of CFOs in December. And then on that report, just kind of gives you the evaluations of the permits for each one.
And I think just for clarity, Risewell Homes is formerly New Homes. So
Correct.
there was a question on that in there. All right, great.
And then they submitted 29 permit applications
Yes.
for Kingston Terrace.
Correct.
Councilor Cunningham, did I see your hand go up? Nope. Okay, sorry. No, you're good. Thank you, Ronnie. Okay, I guess we'll move on to mayors and councilors' reports. We'll start with Councilor Aditi.
Okay.
got that, we got the resolution done. Ronnie and I did that, so appreciate that. Had 2 meetings with Sue Ricky Smith over the holiday, actually on December 10th and on January 8th. And those were fruitful. She's talked about a lot of help from the state with financing, so I'm going to keep in contact with her because I think she can be, well, she's one step below Courtney, so that's probably not a bad thing. Had a meeting with Clean Water Services. I knew Joe Gall, who's the liaison to the public from my work when I did work with Sherwood. So he was a city manager then. So I had a meeting with him here with Ronnie and Max and Gretchen. What I wanted to do is I wanted to review the document that was called the King City URA 6D UGB Proposal Narrative that was from 2018. Long time ago, and things haven't been done. So I wanted to go over that with them and understand what their situation was with the new development that we're doing with the sewers and how that would impact all our future development. So I'm having an ongoing narrative, I shouldn't say narrative, but ongoing conversation with those guys as all these new developments come online. And other than that, Megan DeSalvo is the director of Chamber of Commerce at Tigard. I met with her last year, and then I didn't meet with her again, so we're going to do that. And we'll have Sandra come too.
Yeah.
Okay. And that'll be how we start the idea. I can't say we're going to do it, but the idea for a farmer's market, because it's not as easy as you think it is. You've got, it's a plan. Yeah. There's a lot to it. So we'll work on that.
Great.
That's it.
Thank you. Counselor Cunningham?
I have nothing to report.
Great. Okay. Counselor Tyso?
Oh, mine is quite short. Just the Washington County Community Block Grant Policy Advisory Board meeting was by Zoom, and we went through the preliminary information for assessing grants on January 29th, which will be, okay, sorry. And so we independently, each of us score the applications after we've had a presentation from the people asking for grants, and then the Washington County staff also, and then those scores are combined, and that's how we figure out who gets money and how much, depending on how much money we have to give. And then I went to Sue Ricky's coffee at Symposium the other day. It was very informative. It was just a nice round table of people asking questions and Sue giving us her thoughts of how everything comes together. And it's sort of nice to look at our little community in context with the whole state of Oregon. So I very much appreciate that you're here tonight as well. So thank you so much. And Vince, the other thing I have been thinking about, and I was going to put it on the survey and didn't, is, there are all of these kind of food cart pods that in areas, and Tigard has one where they support businesses just starting, and I'm wondering if there is a way to work, since you're working with the Tigard City Chamber of Commerce, if there isn't something where maybe that idea would be something
You want
that we
some
could
food cart
incorporate.
pods out here? We can put them right out here in the front of this building.
I'm fine with
We're all good with that.
Yeah.
I think that'd be on our own. We could do that by ourselves. There's always people that have food carts.
Coffee and
Well, yeah, we could, I don't know.
But anyway.
Yeah, I don't think we can really.
I want to talk.
Love the idea of a
You know,
food cart pod.
We got space out here in parking lots and then
Yeah.
in the grocery outlet area, but,
Yeah.
that's, we could talk about, yeah, we could do that if they'd let us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
Council President?
So I have like a half hour?
No.
No? I'll cut it short. So January 7th, I'm the HOA guy, so I did the Royal Gardens HOA meeting. And they have all new officers there, and they run their meeting very, very well. Again, I'm so impressed with these HOAs. A lot of people, for a relatively small HOA, there were probably about 20 people. So that's amazing compared to how many you see at the KCCA meetings. They have a question. Who is responsible for snow removal? Do we have a plow? Probably not. So they take care of their sidewalks, and they do salt on their sidewalks and all, but they were concerned about whether or not we have snow removal equipment here with the city. I told them I'd find out, but I suspect that's a county thing or Tiger thing. I don't know. I'll find out.
The answer to that, Ronnie? Ronnie has the answer.
So snow on sidewalks is the responsibility of the homeowner. On the roads, it would be the city, but we contract out with Tigard, and they only do major roads.
You can make requests, but they're
Yeah.
not guaranteed.
They do major roads, which would be like 116th Fisher Road, Royalty.
They do 131.
Yes.
Yeah, because the
Yes.
school.
They'll do the intersection up by the school.
But they won't do the small. Most cities don't do the small roads.
I don't think they would expect them to either. And they too also were interested in a schedule of repaving the roads, and you and I talked about that last week. I think it's a little bit early for you guys, isn't it, to start talking about that? But anyway, at some point I want to get back to them. The Garden Villas HOA, the next day, another well attended meeting. I got an email from John Forsick with questions regarding the stop signs and paving, and I passed that on to you, didn't I, Ronnie? And I think you got a copy of that. A number of other people did too, so that's in the making. And once again, I went to the city charter meetings, and I've already commented on that. I'm pretty impressed with them. That's it.
All right. I just have a couple things. The first, I've already mentioned, but a couple thank yous. One to Vince for all the legwork we've done this month on a couple, big items that I think are going to be really great for the community. The other one, I was forwarded an email. Our blood drive efforts in 2025 year in review, we collected 66 units and helped save 198 lives. So Ronnie, thank you for continuing to put those on. That's awesome too.
Mike, for getting us to do it. So.
Thank you for getting us to do it. Okay. I got the privilege of just working through negotiations with our new city manager over the last month. That was a really interesting process to be a part of, and I think it went really well. And at the beginning of this month, was able to sign his contract. And as Chief mentioned, he'll be starting next Friday, the 30th. And I think I can speak for like most everyone. We're pretty excited for him to start and for us to resume some semblance of normalcy around here as far as a city and everyone going back to their regular jobs and duties. So we're very much looking forward to that. And then I already mentioned I met with Metro Councilor Garrett Rosenthal. We had a really good discussion just about the needs of the city, and he had passed along the small grants that he can do for city or nonprofit events. And then there was another one he mentioned about park grants that they have. So another one that we could look into, because I know that's been on our horizon as well. So that is all that I have. All right. Would we like to adjourn super early? Who wants to? I move to adjourn.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Second.
Aye.
Yeah, good.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Meeting adjourned, 7:39.
Very good.
Because, businesses to let us.
No, isn't that great?
I know they like it because they don't have any place to go. They gotta go down to the.
So we're gonna talk about this one. That's a big market. Oh, that's right, yeah. Okay. Well, we'll meet between now and then, okay? For everything, make sure I got my ducks in a row. I wanna make sure I got my ducks in a row. Oh, yeah, I expect complete success.
We can get some food cards here. Cards here anyway.